You're listening to DraftKings Network.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account, a friend paying you back, or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card, or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Ever since switching to T-Mobile, something weird has been happening. I get to cut lines.
Oh, right this way.
Who, me? I can stream shows at 30,000 feet. And I was able to buy reserve tickets for my favorite band.
It's not just you. With T-Mobile, everyone can get VIP status. That means access to exclusive events and experiences just for being a customer. At T-Mobile, VIP means Y-O-U. Check out the VIP treatment at T-Mobile.com/benefits.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
David Samson is with us. Look at his face. David Samson is seething. He's so mad. David, look.
What's he mad about?
David, we're a sloppy outfit. We're not always on time. I'm sorry you're so punctual, and I'm sorry we made you wait 8 minutes.
Not even 8 minutes Canadian. It's 9:52.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry we made you wait 12 minutes, David. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. I'm dealing with crisis management here.
Then it's my fault. I didn't realize that in the middle of a show, there's a crisis that requires you to do this, but that's fine. I believe in you and your ability to discern crises.
Okay, but while we're normally sloppy, late, and inconsiderate, in this particular case, would you afford me the trust that I was handling something? And I know you've made it plenty clear that if we're a few minutes late, you're going to have sour smell face as soon as we start.
I don't know what sour smell taste is. I merely am just sitting here. Can we start, though? Have we even started yet?
We have started.
We have started. It's just...
Hello, Stu.
Hi, David.
When we started, you had a sour face as if you weren't happy to be here. And I believe that you should be happy to be here because you've got a successful podcast and because we've helped make you a successful podcast. And what's funny about that?
I am overwhelmed with gratitude. Overwhelmed, like it towers over me every day. It makes me feel 4'5". That's how heavy the gratitude is that I carry with me every day for being in your orbit. Of course, I love you and your show, but I also understand, having been there last week when you were in New Orleans. I should point out, regardless of your view or the audience's view, we were on time.
Oh, so you're going to blame me for this?
It's hard to not blame you because I've been there with you, and somehow you just get into conversations during a break that's supposed to be 30 seconds. And I have Chris Cody just texting me, hey man, sorry about this. I can't get him to stop.
Dan runs on Cuban time. That's the time that we run on here. We don't run on American time. We run on Cuban time.
I don't think Chris wanted that out there. I mean,
it was just he was waiting, so it was just hey, we'll be a second. Dan's talking. That's all I said.
One of the rules that I changed at the Marlins is that I no longer accepted Cuban time. When I got to Miami, that was a thing that I was told that, hey, the meeting may not start on time because we have something called Cuban time here. And I said, I don't know what that means. When there's a game at 7:05, the game's at 7:05. When there's a marketing meeting at 3:10, it's at 3:10.
That's like 3:10.
So I don't really understand how you can use a great culture with amazing smells that I'm jealous of as an excuse to be late.
I was arguing with someone.
And it wasn't me. I mean,
It was not.
Well, now I
Stugotz.
don't believe any of it.
And so we were busy, and it's not Cuban time. You were looking at me. You could see on the screen. Anyway, all right, we will start. Nothing Personal is the name of his podcast, and he's also doing the Sporting Class with Pablo Torre and John Skipper. It's an award-winning, critically acclaimed thing that is no longer just me saying over and over again, hey, there's nothing like this in sports business. You haven't heard an hour like this. It's actually been seen now by the people who cover this stuff and like sports business, and they're like, oh, shit, this per square inch has more business terrain that's being covered than like leaps and bounds beyond wherever Darren Rovell got famous. Like, this is sports business being covered better than anyone's covering it. So that's his other podcast, The Sporting Class.
Darren Rovell right now is like, man, how'd that happen?
How did I get that stray?
What, you got the stray or Rovell got the stray?
He's saying it for Darren Rovell.
Yeah,
It's a quote.
Thank you, Chris.
Hypothetical quote.
I didn't even mean it as a stray. Darren Rovell is the singular business sports journalist that other people think of when they think of sports business. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Who is?
David.
I'm going to say it could be me.
Really? Okay, so that's what you. That's okay. All right, here we go.
Backed him up.
I think I found him.
So
It's
just to be clear, let's be clear. You think right now that the nation thinks that you're a better and bigger sports business journalist than Darren Rovell?
You'll have to hold on, please. I'm getting a call from my agent. I'm live on the air, so I can't talk now. That's how important I am, that I'm getting calls while on air, because there's barely a time I'm not on air. For you. With such gratitude, I say that.
And still not,
He made you.
Still not as famous as Rovell. Like, you think you're what? I don't even know what he's doing. What's Samson doing there? You think that you're bigger than Rovell? I think you're better than him, and then they say he's catching a stray, but you are better than him.
I would say that I am more recognized. I mean, now we're getting into an ego thing, but I'll do it. And I know Darren well, friend, but here we go. I am more recognizable than Darren Rovell. More people could pick me out of a lineup than Darren Rovell. And when it comes to business acumen for someone who's done it and been there and is able to articulate it in a way that an audience can appreciate, understand, and laugh at, I think that I have a leg up there as well.
Look, this is a bold claim that David Samson is making, and it's he's shooting a national and an international, like a salvo across the career of Rovell, saying, I have surpassed you. I don't believe anyone other than David Samson right now is saying that. I think Samson's the only one saying that. Who else is saying that?
I said it. I mean,
you're willing to be out there publicly with the idea that David Samson is more recognizable as a sports business figure than Darren Rovell?
1,000%. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I mean, really, we're just piggybacking on your thoughts. You were the one who took Rovell out, and so we just, we all kind of just followed your lead. I mean,
He did catch a needless stray.
Yeah.
Totally needless.
Needless. And it keeps going now.
Yep.
He started a new company called Clicked Media where they do memorabilia stuff.
Now we're helping.
And
What was that?
Huh?
Clicked?
Yeah,
Clicked?
you want to say that
Excuse me?
correctly.
Yeah.
Yes, C-K.
Arepa?
Slow down.
C-K.
Clicked.
Rapers.
The movie with Adam Sandler.
We know that.
Okay, there you go.
With an ED.
Yeah, it sounded funny. David, tell me all you can. Pablo Torre did a deep dive on all of the dysfunctions in the Minnesota Timberwolves ownership. And A-Rod, who you negotiated with and learned how little he knew about business, is now running the or won the arbitration hearing that he needed to win. And what has happened there is how interesting to you. Like, what does it mean? Explain it to me better than Rovell would.
Well, he wouldn't explain it to you at all. So there you go. It is extremely interesting to me. And I didn't say that A-Rod was bad at business. I said that he wanted to own a team as badly as Derek Jeter wanted to own a team. And having the two of them both want to own the same team is what drove up the value of the Marlins to heights that it never should have gotten to. The competition between A-Rod and Jeter continues to this day. And don't be fooled by the act they have on Fox. Those guys are not friends. And the reality is what Alex is doing in Minnesota, where he's putting in hundreds of millions of his own money, where Jeter put in nothing really and got a salary, actually. And what A-Rod is going to own a percentage of the Minnesota Timberwolves that Derek never came close to with the Marlins. So A-Rod's actually seen his truth come to pass And it happened because he got a favorable arbitration ruling because the octogenarian owner of the Timberwolves, a guy named Glenn Taylor, sold the team to A-Rod and Mark Lowry years ago for $1.5 billion. Now the team is worth more. So Glenn Taylor was trying to get out of the deal, saying that A-Rod and Mark didn't properly finance it. It went all the way to an arbitration, and the arbitrators ruled 2 days ago that A-Rod gets the team. So now they have to get approved by the National Basketball Association and Adam Silver and the owners, which they will. And they will then take over a team that many people think will leave the Timberwolves in a better place than it was under Glenn Taylor. And I, for one, am excited to watch him run a team because it's way different to plan a team or to run a team. And I think he's got a chance to be really good at it because he's always been willing to learn and listen and engage with people who have done things that he hasn't done. And if he keeps doing that, he's going to be really good. Of course, the number one thing he can do is not sign a contract the likes of which he signed with Texas. That will be the best first step.
Rovell has 1.9 million followers on Twitter. David has 43,000.
So let me just be clear about that, Stugotz.
Okay.
If you look at that, means
I'm with you,
Darren
by the
Rovell,
way.
Hold on.
Okay.
That means that Darren Rovell, go look at the Le Batard show.
Yeah.
That means that Darren Rovell is that much bigger than Dan and the Le Batard show, and it's not even close.
Right. No, I
Dan
agree with you.
Dan Le Batard and the value of him and his company and his show puts everyone else to shame.
We're not
in
talking.
This industry.
We're not talking about value. We're talking about fame.
You don't think you're more recognizable than Darren Rovell?
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, that's wrong.
You're being humble.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it comes off strangely, actually.
I mean, he's associated with sports business. People are fascinated by sports business, and he's got the unique personality of being someone in this community of people who like sports, of being sort of famously dorky. Like, well, he'll run 40 yards and is a personality. Like he's a bigger personality than I am.
It's a fame off.
I'm not saying that he's not known or that he's not a cool guy or a dorky guy. I'm saying that when it comes to sports business, if you've got two choices of where to get info from, you're going to go to me, not him. And I'm also saying if you've got two people to make an appearance in an event, you're going to go to you and not him.
David, I have a sports business question for you. The Department of Education has officially rescinded NIL-related Title IX guidance, basically making it okay for NIL to have a rev share that is not an equitable split. This is certainly going to get challenged in court, but this is massive news. Basically, the schools that don't really have much interest in having to invest in non-revenue sports now have the okay from the Department of Education to not. Your thoughts?
It's a business. They're running a business. And it's like with Meadowlark or any business, you want to give the money to the people who are producing and to the people who can generate revenue. That's the reality of what these programs are doing. And you're going to see programs disappear and become less relevant because programs are losing money. And when you've got private equity investment or you've got collectives who are funding players and teams, it's based on merit, as it should be. This will be challenged in court because there's everything that he's doing is being challenged. But there are certain things, and not just the penny and hopefully the nickel going forward, that are going to be changed that will actually be to the better. I just don't agree with the way in which they're going about it, but certain things make sense to me. I don't want to be told who to pay money to because I am putting some imputed value of someone's worth based on something other than what their actual worth is.
Why are you shaking your head, Mike?
Jeremy and I have thoughts on this. It's a tough look. I think women's basketball, especially in the collegiate game, is showing you when you finally actually put resources behind this, the sport can grow and be a revenue sport for you as well. I think that there's in the Big 12, there's good softball stories. Women's gymnastics has been huge for NIL and athletes that have benefited from that. It's like any business. You also need seed money to invest to actually see how this grows. And in this golden age of sports media rights, I don't think we should be pulling back. Also, just we're taking a step back decades in terms of progress when it finally felt like we were making real inroads on making these non-revenue sports actually revenue generators.
But Mike, we're not pulling back, actually. This is not putting a cap on what NIL can be. This is actually just talking about the distribution of it. And when you talk about investment in gymnastics or other women's sports, when a Caitlin Clark comes around, there's a ton of investment that goes into it in order to try to bolster that and then duplicate that. So these opportunistic investors or collectives will still exist, but you have to have personality. You have to have Twitter followers. You have to have the ability to show a return on the investment. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I have an issue with framing this as if it has anything to do with merit, because that's the reason Title IX was originated in the first place. Is we were not investing in women's sports the same way we were in men's sports. We were not giving equal opportunities. And if we're creating another, we all know that NIL runs college sports now. And if you're not going to have this is no different than a lot of the under the cause of DEI and ripping away all of these other opportunities for any level of equality that we've instituted over the last 60 or 70 years in this country. Like, this is just a microcosm of all of that, ripping away in NIL in particular, a demand to have some level of financial equality for men's and women's sports is a major issue that's representative of all of the other issues that we're having right now, like Google kowtowing to removing Holocaust Remembrance Day and Pride Month and Black History Month and Hispanic Heritage from their calendars. Like, it's all related, David.
I don't disagree, and I'm not happy necessarily where we are in many of those regards, but I was trying to just explain the difference. I was trying to simply explain the difference of what this attempt is being made. It's to have allocations according to merit. And you say
merit is the wrong word. Merit indicates that there is some sort of inequality in terms of what how much they're deserving of getting this opportunity. And I just think that the merit element is an issue because that is the term that we are using to justify eliminating all of these types of programs across the board. And I can understand that a privatized thing such as NIL is different than what goes on specifically in the government, but Title IX is a part of what we do within our government. And so I think that we're really blurring the lines all the way across the board. And that's an issue. Like, merit is not how this gets divvied out. It's powerful white men giving more to powerful white men. Like, that's how we know how this works.
When you strip away Title IX protections, the ruling class gets to define what is actually merit-based, which is awfully convenient when they're the ones making the investments.
Right.
Am I confused here, Mike? Is Title IX being rescinded, or is it the
Title IX protections? The Title IX protections, which means...
That's my point.
Yeah, which means, like, athletes, women athletes inside the NCAA, their sports, if you lump their sports against some of the bigger men's sports, the women's sports are generally classified more as non-revenue, and it allows schools to just paint with that broad brush and realize we don't actually have to make a sizable investment in this.
And same as anything else, by the way, like, we can have this conversation when they do rip away Title IX if you want and parse the semantics of what this is versus when they ultimately rip away Title IX. But this is the first step in doing so, right? I mean, we all see the writing on the wall, just like we've seen with any of the rest of this.
I think we should panic right now. And I'm just curious. I'd like you to think about one thing, Jeremy. Imagine if a podcast comes out and it doesn't have an audience, really, and there's no commercials, there's no monetization, but Meadowlark is forced to give that podcast a percentage of its on-air time. It's not based on a return on investment. It's based on nothing but, let's do this for this show, which has not proven to do anything for the bottom line. Do you think that's fair?
I think it's a false equivalence in what we're talking about. I don't believe
it's
that we're
not an argument
to
keep saying that merit's the wrong word. It's a false equivalence. I'm asking you a very simple question, and I understand if you don't want to get into the debate because it can get personal in a way I don't mean to get personal. But I'm asking a simple question that what we're saying with this ruling is that we're going to keep giving money to players. They're going to keep getting paid, but we're going to pay the players who are good. We're going to pay the players who can be helpful to a program. And the program being profitable is exactly how these other sports can survive.
And the lack of resources going toward any of those other programs don't allow you to create the stars that exist, like Juju Watkins right now, or Caitlin Clark, or any of the other stars that we speak about in any other women's sports.
I've heard that argument for 20 years. If you don't invest in something, then how can you bear the fruits of that investment? You know how much money baseball spent trying to find an Indian baseball player? So much money. And finally they said, you know what? This is stupid. We can't find anybody. I think they had those two Pirates guys. They were trying to open up that market the way Yao Ming did for China in the NBA. At some point, you just say to yourself, wow, this is throwing good money after bad,
but surely,
which is the single most important economic principle.
Allow me to help you, though. Given, like you cited Caitlin Clark, this is not that. If we want to get into false equivalencies, and every sport, for the most part, found itself where many non-revenue women's sports find itself right now, which is how we generate an audience. Even American football had to start from a base level of 0. Hell, we have something worldwide that is the biggest sport. Proof of concept. The biggest thing in sports entertainment is soccer, and we've spent 3 decades trying to invest in it to make it a revenue generator in this country, and we can in college athletics, and we are certainly not in the black when it comes to MLS. Things take time. It's not going to stop Apple from investing into it because we know through time, through investment, we can get there.
And there are companies that have tremendous budgets for R&D, and there's a percentage of breakage in all of those budgets where you don't assume that there will be any fruit that comes from that investment. Pharmaceutical companies do it. Media companies do it. It's a very common thing. But at some point, you've got to allow the companies to make the decision of where they're going to buttress an investment and where they're going to cut it off.
It's an interesting time to own a business in America, and here's the question we have, folks. What does the future hold for business? If you ask 9 experts, you're going to get 10 different answers. A bull market, a bear market, inflation up, inflation down. Can someone just please invent a crystal ball? Until that day comes, over 41,000 businesses have already future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP. NetSuite seamlessly integrates accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one powerful platform. With one unified business management suite, you get one source of truth, empowering you to make quick, informed decisions. And thanks to real-time insights and forecasting, you're not just guessing, you're acting on actionable data. Close your books in days, not weeks, and spend more time looking ahead. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you meet today's challenges and seize tomorrow's opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/DLB. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/DLB. netsuite.com/DLB.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply. If you're a pet parent like me, you know about Chewy. And they say they have everything you need to keep your pet healthy and happy. They're not messing around. Oh, look at this good boy and good girl over here taking an early morning siesta after their breakfast with the food we got from Chewy. Hassle-free. With AutoShip. To keep Dopey happy, Chewy offers over 100,000 products from brands my pets love. At prices I love too. Foods, treats, toys, beds, you name it. They've got it. To keep Izzy healthy, Chewy's got me covered with pet prescriptions, insurance, telehealth, vet visits, and even vet clinics rolling out nationwide. My favorite feature? AutoShip. I never run out of essentials like food or litter. And I can update or cancel anytime, so no guilt trips from Dopey or Izzy. And everything ships right to your door in just 1 to 2 days. Oh, and Chewy isn't just for dogs and cats. They've got birds, fish, reptiles, and more covered too. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com/Dan. That's chewy.com/Dan to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Chewy.com/DAN. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details.
Dan Batard.
We love you. We've got you. We've all got each other. Let's go right now.
Stugotz.
1, 2, 3, Brett. 1, 2, 3, Brett.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So I have a problem on my hands here, David. I need the guy that I was just arguing with to find for me Darren Rovell so I can have a business off.
Yep.
Between you and Darren Rovell tomorrow, where you guys have a competition to see who knows more about business, and we put you up against each other. Are you good with that? Get on that, Kugler, please.
Is that what you were arguing about for 12 minutes?
That and other things.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can do that tomorrow. I'd like to find Rovell and have you go against each other. I also need to get to, because I think we're outside of the local hour, but I really do think there's a topic here that the entire room would engage on excitedly, and it's that the Marlins have a Hall of Fame now. And who do you put in the Marlins Hall of Fame? Now, this is something that the nation at large could not give one flying bleep about. Not one flying, I am acknowledging on the front end, this is the sports talk nobody wants.
Right.
This has PFPI Hall of Fame vibes.
Jack McKeon has to be in there,
but
right?
look, but this is the thing.
Yep.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
This show wishes to talk about this.
Oh, it's the greatest.
This show wishes to talk about how few or how many Samson would allow through those hallowed doors that no one else cares about.
I got the call that this was happening.
Yeah.
And what I thought the call is, hey, we're doing something and we'd like to bring you back to be a part of it, because I haven't been invited back to do anything, and I haven't been back in 7 years.
You think that they were inviting you to be a part of something Hall of Fame related?
Not to be inducted, but to be part of a ceremony, to be part of recognizing the past. I was not recognized during the anniversary or even invited to watch it, the anniversary of the World Series championship. So I thought that that's what the call was. But in fact, it was a call preparing me for the fact that the Marlins were doing a Hall of Fame and wondering whether I'd be willing to cover it.
Cover it?
Mention it in my show.
Right.
Isn't that what cover it means?
I'm guessing David thinks he should be in the Marlins Hall of Fame. And I'm not certain he's wrong. I mean, he did win a World Series as team president.
And got a ballpark opened.
Yeah.
And so do I think that I should be in the first class? Absolutely not. Do I think that when you look at important figures in the history of the franchise, am I in that conversation? I don't know how to argue against that.
Let's
allow
argue.
me.
So yes, hold on. Everybody back away. Just back away, because David, what's about to happen right now? No, David.
You want to take a wild guess?
Time.
David,
This is so good.
David, as you claim to be a Hall of Famer in the Marlins Hall of Fame, okay?
Not first ballot, though.
Wait, just so he knows, just so that he knows, okay? We know that David's a teammate and everything else, but what I saw flash across Mike's face is never. Never, and I was right behind him with over my dead body. Over my dead body.
Me with the Wade statue.
Will David Samson be allowed in the Marlins Hall of Fame? Never.
Absolutely bleeping not. I screamed it.
You might get it.
The other mics might have picked it up. No. You killed baseball in this market. You don't get to be in a Hall of Fame for killing baseball.
I did not kill baseball. I saved baseball in the market, actually.
If there were a Hall of Fame for killing baseball, you'd be first ballot.
Mike, I would like you to never go to a game or an event. I'd like you not to have a moment with your child. I'd like you to just pretend that the park doesn't exist.
Me too.
And when it comes...
every year at tax time.
That used to be the Orange Bowl, and it smelled like urine, and we loved it.
Thank you.
You killed sports on that burial ground.
I'm not going to... First of all, the smell of the Orange Bowl, this is what we want to protect in Miami?
Take me back, brother. Oh, my gosh. We were looking for a soccer-specific stadium. We were, should we play the lease at Hard Rock Stadium? We had a perfect plot of land. Well, it was imperfect. It's actually a terrible plot of land, and they're actually never developing it. I'm happy that we have a sports and social going up there now. Finally, it took 15 years for there to be some kind of investment that David told us would happen immediately and never actually happened. Instead, it's the same exact house I used to park at.
Oh my God! They were going to save the economy in the neighborhood, and it's just una bodega.
I was making up that part.
You don't say.
You were going to save the local economy, you thief.
Just that part.
Hall of Fame.
I just wanted 1 or 2 square blocks around the Orange Bowl. And listen, the Hall of Fame, it's not necessarily about who you like or what trade you didn't like. It's about people who mean something to the organization. What is it? What is your view of Carl Barger? Is he someone who should have had his number retired or not?
I thought it was
because
excessive.
He died young.
I thought it was excessive. I wasn't aware of why it was honored. I asked questions. And I'm like, probably not. Probably not.
Chris Cody just whispered to me that David dying is his only shot. And what I say is that at the funeral for David Samson, we should absolutely open around him 2 Hall of Fames. The Hall of Fame that he gets to go into, that is the Hall of Fame first ballot of people who killed the sport in this market, and also the Hall of Fame on people who saved the sport in this market.
It has
because
to be-
that stadium did indeed save it would not be here. Like, they would not have a place to play. Like, it'd be 7 people at a football stadium that we'd still be doing now.
I will activate Radio Mom B. You will not get within 50 yards of this building.
It has to be tragic, though, his death.
It's got to be a newsmaker, a real newsmaker.
He can't live until he's 92 and just pass
That's
away
correct.
old age. It has to be tragic.
It's not going to be never, like Mike says, but it will be only if he lives into his thousands. Because he's not human. Because he's not a human being. David, before we get to your review of the week, I am told that you have a sponsored segment now. I don't know how it is that this happened. I don't know how it is that Top 5 Kisses is something that you're here to do in a sponsored segment. Can you please take me through what it is that we're doing right now?
Business. We're trying to have a functioning company where we acknowledge and take care of our sponsors, and we do things that are monetizable so that you all can get paid. Are you actually asking me how and why we do this?
Could have just said, David, you got a top 5. Go for it.
Jesus, Dan. Can you onboard that better? Please.
It is no is the short answer.
That's how he does it.
But I didn't know how I was going to segue from the fun we were having to David wants to talk about kisses.
Fun.
Just say Valentine's Day is coming up on Friday, February 14th, and I assume that everyone's going to do something nice for either themselves or someone else. And David, do you have a top 5 list? And I would have said this top 5 is brought to you by NYX Professional Makeup. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you. And then I would say, get the music ready. Right. I've got a top 5 sports movie kisses.
Let's do it.
All right, there's music. There's not music. Okay, so I'm glad you guys
Is that my fault too?
Yeah.
So I've been working on that
Sports
paternity
movie
leave?
kisses?
Okay, yes. Because Chris and David Samson worked so hard on how to do this well for the sponsor. They've got a top 5 list of top 5 movie kisses. Any OLI, or we're just starting with number 5?
Oh, no, I have OLI.
Oh, no.
This is OLI just for you, Stu. Rocky. The kiss between Rocky and Adrian.
It's a good one. Yes, it is.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I have another OLI,
Right.
and this one's for you, Dan. The kiss between Richard Dreyfuss and Terry Garr at the end of Let It Ride when he says, I'm having a really good day.
This is a movie that only David and Richard Dreyfuss are trying to keep alive in the American consciousness. It's just not worth you bringing up every segment.
It's a Hall of Fame movie.
No, it is not.
Worst event
And
I've
I
ever
will
been
take
attached
that to my grave,
still scarred.
which
There was
may
a
be coming sooner than
monsoon.
you thought. Can I go to number 5, Chris?
Sure.
Top 5 sports movie kisses. Number 5, for the love of the game, the kiss between Kevin Costner and Kelly Preston. That was hot. That's it, Chris?
He's got
Number 4?
sultry music for you. Now we finally got some. Now this is how you say Valentine's Day. See, look, a little effort from Chris Cody.
It's still kisses in sports movies.
That's right.
Though. I mean,
But this is how we do
Bill
it.
Raftery, the kiss.
That's right.
Kiss off the glass. Number 4, The Wrestler. Kissed between Marissa Tomei and Mickey Rourke. Everybody was thinking is
Tomei. You got your own Venmo fine bucket.
Tomato.
I'll get to the Venmo bucket in a minute because I actually followed the rules of the Venmo bucket and Venmoed money into the bucket. Yep. And I was made fun of by certain people saying that nobody actually does the Venmo.
No, I do.
It's a different sponsor.
No, we're crossing swords.
Come on.
Crossing streams.
Eye on the ball, boys.
Streams.
Eye on the ball, boys.
The number 3 sports movie kiss, which is brought to you by Nick's Professional Makeup, is a movie called Love and Basketball. There is a kiss between the characters Quincy and Monica. You may want to watch that. Number 2, who's not interested in tennis?
You may want to watch that. You may want to watch that. Like, why did you raise your eyebrows? The whole thing.
Super horny.
You creeped all of us out with all of us were made uncomfortable by your eyebrows. Please don't do that again.
Okay. Number 2, Challengers. There is a 3-way kiss between Zendaya, a guy named Mike Feist, the actor, and Josh O'Connor. If you haven't seen Challengers, the score should have been nominated for an Oscar, and it wasn't. This scene when they're on the bed, you're thinking to yourself, what am I about to see? And then you don't see it. Okay.
I do want to do, think, Central Samson. I think this is a good character.
He's right about Challengers, though.
Number 1.
The number 1 sports movie kiss of all time is in a movie called Major League with Rene Russo and Tom Berenger at the end after they've won the pennant, and they kiss in a way that makes you feel like sports is life.
That was, by the way, after Tom Berenger with a man on second surprised everybody with a bunt, and the guy scored from second.
Wesley Snipes.
Because no one was expecting Tom Berenger to be able to leg out a bunt.
Not even Tom.
And he could barely do it.
Nobody.
It was an intense 90 feet, him sprinting.
But again, Wesley Snipes scored from second in the amount of time it took a collapsing Tom Berenger to arrive at first.
Terrible omission, not having Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan kissing.
Yeah.
Samson, we have no time for a review unless you can do it in a minute.
No, that was the segment, Dan.
Oh, I still haven't spoken to him about Nosferatu.
I wanted Mike. I didn't know you were in because I can never understand the schedule, but I did watch Nosferatu, and I do want to review it with you on the air because it's still with me.
May we? Can we? Let's do it. Yeah, review it. Marty Scorsese turned out to be a big Robert Eggers guy. Loved it. Robert Eggers, he's been quoted as saying, I never want to make a movie in the modern era. I only want to do period pieces. It's a bit divisive, mostly because of a mustache. I'm curious to hear your thoughts because you don't like horror movies.
Well, I won't watch horror movies until you ask me to. And the jump scares in the beginning, I almost didn't make it through. Nosferatu is nominated for multiple Academy Awards, especially in a category that you wouldn't expect, cinematography. It is one of the most beautiful films shot of the year. Why do I say it? Because you are looking at Lily Rose Depp, who got her way past the Idol. You are looking at one of the Skarsgårds who is playing in makeup that should win Best Makeup. And he is 10 feet tall, playing the... How much do I owe? Just tell me.
$7.
I'll pay whatever you want.
Nation, what happened here?
Whatever we want.
$7.
I'll Venmo anything you want. I don't exactly know how to get the doorbird to go on silent when my phone's on silent.
Oh, that was your phone. Okay, so that's $12. You now, because you also have coughed several times into the microphone while trying
Let's just make it 20.
Okay.
So an even 20?
Yes. Go ahead. $20. Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I will acknowledge it. I'm mortified by it. I don't know what to do about it. So back to Nosferatu.
Finish your review.
My review is that if you have an opportunity to appreciate filmmaking and you can get through the fact that it is a period piece that is scary, that's in black and white, that has blood, that has a strange sex scene, maybe the strangest sex scene I've ever seen, and Mike, I consider Nosferatu for my top 5 kisses of all time when she goes in to kiss the vampire, which we can talk about. But I felt like the open sores took away from the beauty of the moment, but not the artistic value of it. It's a movie, Mike, that I absolutely loved. And here's the secret for you, Mike. I watched it twice because the first time through, I had my eyes covered for a decent percentage of it, and I wanted to get the whole experience with eyes wide open.
Go ahead, Tony. Make fun of Samson.
No,
there.
I like the idea of Samson sitting by himself, dark. All of a sudden, he's like, oh!
Listen to me.
That's what I do.
I want you to imagine this because it's how I imagine it. David Samson, a child. David Samson, who's told us he's afraid of the dark. David Samson, who has since conquered his fear of the dark. I imagine him and his insomnia in a very large room watching a horror movie when he doesn't want to watch horror movies. And now he is 5-year-old David Samson.
Wearing thong sandals.
5 years old.
With a bag of candy.
Yes?
I can't deny that any of that is not true. I did watch the movie twice alone, and I did do it when it was light out, and I did do it in a room with lights on first time through because I didn't want to add to my level of fear. However, there was no candy during the movie. I was too scared of choking because I was anxious and I felt my throat closing. So I don't eat candy when I'm watching a movie when I have anxiety.
Samson, thank you. Chris Cody, you've never been better. Your musical choices were really artistic there. Kugler, business off tomorrow. Samson and Rovell. Thank you, Samson.
It's an interesting time to own a business in America. And here's the question we have, folks. What does the future hold for business? If you ask 9 experts, you're going to get 10 different answers. A bull market, a bear market, inflation up, inflation down. Can someone just please invent a crystal ball? Until that day comes, over 41,000 businesses have already future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP. NetSuite seamlessly integrates accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one powerful platform. With one unified business management suite, you get one source of truth, empowering you to make quick, informed decisions. And thanks to real-time insights and forecasting, you're not just guessing, you're acting on actionable data. Close your books in days, not weeks, and spend more time looking ahead. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you meet today's challenges and seize tomorrow's opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/DLB. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/DLB. netsuite.com/DLB.
All right, I know I gotta do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.